back. Wi-Fi issue, technical problems. It is what it is, as they say. I got cut off earlier. I was talking about, you know, me as a professional NBA basketball player. Yeah, I went to a baseball and basketball camp. My uh, gym teacher, Mr. Sidney, he saw something in me. Whatever I was, a little athlete and stuff running around, and he liked me, and then he, sent me to this baseball basketball camp upstate, and 2 weeks, one for baseball and one for basketball. Meeting Bill Russell. He was so tall. This guy, man, was sitting in his chair. He was taller than me. I was walking around, and he kind of like snuffed me off a little, something, something. Guy, look, I'm 5'3", 5'4" back then. So, how serious can it take you? And he didn't. You know what I'm saying? So and I always heard that he never gave autographs, but yeah, that was Mr. Meyer here, Mr. Sidney Meyer, and good man, and yeah. So yeah, that's what I was talking about when I got ousted by the Wi-Fi, the technology or whatever. But yeah, so that's where I was at because Karen was talking about she never saw Kev Young laugh so hard. So yeah, like I said, I was just playing around with those cats, jabbing at him, Big Rod, Tiny, and Kev Young. Like I said, because I was a football player, but I was also into all kind of sports, basketball and such, and I like the New York guards. Like I said, Rod Strickland was one of my favorites, and Jamal Crawford, cats that had handles that had that flavor. Yeah. Mark Jackson was a New York guard from New York. But Mark to me had that little, you know, hip hop. Not that. How can I put it? It was Park, Park flavor, whatever. But to me, he never could, really rock like a Rod Strickland, like a Jamal Crawford. You know what I'm saying? For you cats that understand basketball and know where I'm coming from. Like Nate Robinson, Tiny Archibald, uh, Cal Murphy, that put work in. AI, Allen Ice, cats are nice, man. But yeah, and yeah, Rod Strickland was, he was my dude, man. As far as when it came down to his style and everything, like Allen Iverson and stuff, and yeah, so yeah, Kev Young, you know, uh, he found it funny, man, when I was telling him, man, that I was trying to, dunk and I was, man, I was out there every day trying to. I used to get up on it and nub that rim, man. I just couldn't get over it and hold it down, you know, and get held high and slam it. But yeah, so yeah, Sidney Meyer, he was my gym coach and good man, Mr. Meyer. May God rest your soul, brother. Uh, yeah, and we had a decent team. We had decent basketball. Parsons Junior High School, and Kim Roper. Peace and blessings, Kim. God bless your sister. And yeah, so welcome to the show and in the house. Yeah, I was on a little earlier and got cut off. My Wi-Fi went down, the internet, and it's been happening the last 2 weeks over here. I got one of my systems that's completely out. I got it, in the shop. Hey, you tell me to call Friday. You'll call me Friday. It's not going to be too. What does that mean? It's not going to be too expensive. What does that mean? It's not going to be too expensive. But hey, you got to wait. You're at their mercy. What are you going to do? And it's a Jewish holiday, and He's in the shop working, doing his thing and whatever, but he's got me by the cojones, literally. Know what I'm saying? So it's like that. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about fame. What is fame? How important is fame? The illusion of fame, if you will. But it's because, people will sell their soul. They will, uh, you know, make it hard for the next person to try to, make it honorably, if you will, come up through the rank and file. Like Eddie OJ was talking about, there's a ritual, or asked me if I thought there was a ritual, in the hip hop, game to make it to that next level. You've heard so many different things about what they do and what you have to do if you want. It's crazy, man. It's just trying to live your life and, you know, get through your day as best possible. And then here you got to go through who knows what to get to a certain level, to be a star, a superstar, people coming. And, if you look, people, man, the stars and stuff, they have problems too. They go through stuff, man. Life uh, comes in and takes over. And yeah, they have to, go to the doctor as well. Huh? Nobody's getting out of this. You understand what I'm saying? Everybody is checking out at one point or another, at some time or another. So live your life as best as you can. Hey, Karen, what the heck happened, George? As I was explaining it to Kim Roper, the Wi-Fi just knocked me out of the box for the last couple of weeks here in this part of New York where I'm at in Far Rockaway, in this area. I don't know what they're doing, what kind of work that they're doing, what's going on. Karen, here in the Bronx today, a part of a building fell. I don't know how many stories, about 16, 26. I don't know how many stories, but the building, part of it was an explosion in the whole structure. One section of the building, thankfully and luckily, nobody got hurt. Nobody was killed, but it was a gas explosion. Yeah, and the whole building, the section fell out just one column, like the World Trade Towers. When it went down, it imploded and it collapsed. Like, but that's how just this one section. It wasn't the apartments. It was where the gas uh, column is. Yeah. So look, my Wi-Fi went down. It went down, and you know what I'm saying. So thankfully, like I'm still here. You know, getting ready to go make me something to eat. Huh? So it wasn't anything drastic. You know what I'm saying? It was just the Wi-Fi went down and it cut off the show, and I resumed it because I just wanted to uh, make some points. Karen's insurance money, yeah, you never know. That's facts because you know people don't understand how the insurance game works. Nobody really does. Even like just having personal insurance, everybody's clueless. What the fuck they're talking about? The the policies, and they have to explain it. They break it down and explain. You know, with the different things that you have to go through, huh? To get paid on a policy. So the insurance racket, it's a racket. It's big business. The medical business is a big business. It's not a multi-million dollar business, a multi-billion dollar business. It might be $1 trillion business. This young man just lost his life. He's 13 years old. He got shot in the head here in New York, and he ended up saving 5 lives because of the organs. His organs went, different parts. There's the pancreas, the heart, the lungs, and they broke it down. It's big money. It's incredible. Everything has a dollar sign behind it, as most of us know. And it's like with this AI is just off the hook now. It's crazy. It's like, what next? Where do we go now with this? I was watching something, and this female director had created an AI character that she injected into her vehicle, her movie, her project, if you will. And this entity is up for an award. It's an AI creation. Yeah, part of the movie. So, that's what the real actors and actresses were fighting for. As far as to not to have this happen. This is their livelihood. This is what they do, huh? Now you make a creation, and AI is just as you see. You can't. It looks real. It's almost like the holograms years ago when the Prince and Michael Jackson had the holograms behind. They it's like they're there. Uh, it's like that movie with Will Smith, I Robot. That was years ago. Alexa, when was I Robot made?
The book I, Robot was published about 75 years ago on December
Alexa,
2nd, 1950.
Alexa,
The,
when was the movie with Will Smith, I Robot, made?
the book I,
Uh,
Robot was published about 75 years ago on December 2nd, 1950. The film adaptation was released on July 16th, 2004.
all right. So she says 2004. Uh, yeah, Karen. Karen asks a question. Which is interesting because it gives you food for thought. Why do you think people go missing? I'm a conspiracy individual. And it just it has your mind working. Is it could it be the body parts and stuff like that? Because it's like that movie Coma back in the day, where they were people going in. Tom Selleck, a young Tom Selleck at that time, had a broken leg and went into the hospital. Then he suddenly lapses into a coma, from a broken leg. And like, body parts. They was selling body parts, and this is years ago. Alexa, when was the movie Coma made?
Here is an answer from an Alexa Answers contributor that I translated. The film Coma was released in 1978. This is a medical thriller directed by Michael Crichton, based on the novel of the same name written by Robin Cook. The film stars Michael Douglas, Genevieve Bujold, and Elizabeth Ashley, among others.
It was a hell of a movie, and yeah, why do people go missing? You just don't know. It's just so many, that when it gets into that heavy money, that real deep money, you know, uh, it seems people will do anything, to get that almighty dollar, and it's a little scary. Like that AI is scary, and it really is because uh, they created a project, and she's up for an Academy Award. This I say she, but it's you know, of course, she's gonna do her thing up for but it's mind boggling. Karen asks me, remember the movie? No, Karen, what's that about? I got to look this up now. I might watch this later. Karen said, remember the movie Soye, Silent Green? Solvent Green? Soylent. Green. No, I don't, Karen. I didn't see that. And I'm a movie guy, and I'll be checking it out later for sure. But yeah, you know, Charlton Heston. Yeah, I'll be checking it out later for sure. But Edward G. Edward G. One of my favorite actors. You know, and Charlton Heston. And by the way, I meant to uh, when he passed away with Robert Redford. Rest in peace, Mr. Redford. Robert Redford, hell of an actor as well. And you know, when you look at your pretty boy now, your pretty boys with your Brad Pitts and them cats, man. That's where Charlton Heston came from. Not Charlton Heston. It's where Robert Redford. You got me looking at the board up there. A young brother down here committed suicide with two broken arms and two broken legs, and they saying it's possible. Uh, yeah, Eddie Prince brought that out. He said, yeah, Eddie had told me about this before. Young brother down here committed suicide with two broken arms and two broken legs. I think Eddie, did you tell me that allegedly he hung himself? Something like that. But, it's just, it's crazy. It's ridiculous. Um, Karen said that movie with Charlton Heston and Edward G, it will blow your mind. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna write that down now. Uh, Sonny Green. Yeah, but yeah, you had a pretty boy, Brad Pitt. It was like a young Robert Redford. Rob. He was incredible actor, great actor with the Sting. With James Earl Jones, Newman. Uh, Incredible. My boy Eddie says great movie. But yeah, I'm gonna check that out. Check that bad boy out, Sonia Green. And you got so many movies out here. A lot of times when we look past the movie, we don't really. Movies tell you a lot. There's a lot in the movie. Sometimes we're not looking at exactly what's in the movie, the substance. You know, for entertainment value or whatever. But movies give you, you know, what's really going on a lot of times, what's underneath it. Like I was saying with this movie, like with that Will Smith movie, I Robot, with the holograms and stuff, and now AI, I remember that movie with the Space Odyssey where we were scared, or didn't really understand what the robots, what their worth was, or if they had, you know, the technology could click over into intelligence, huh? And then now with this AI, it's artificial intelligence, huh? What does that really mean? Yeah, but and that's the other thing. But and they put so much stuff. That's like we were talking about the insurance, right? Insurance companies where they will insure uh, the artists, right? And that's why they were talking about years ago that I know with NWA, Ice Cube's group with Easy E, how they overinsure the company and stuff, and the different artists pass away, they die, and then who collects the insurance, huh? So it's just that almighty dollar, man. It's scary. Ah, yeah. So yeah, I'm not gonna dwell on that too much, but like I just said, I wanted to talk about fame and how people, man, are thirsty. They want that notoriety bad. But when you get it, now what? Like I said, when I was doing it, when I was out there working hard and opening for this one and that one, and and was right there as far as like making that plateau. When Eddie said, "I want to ride in a driverless car," yeah, they got the driverless car, which is that's another thing. It's fucking crazy. Who would trust that to get in a car where there's no driver? I don't give a fuck how good the technology is. They could stop on a dime and all this other stuff, but you have expert drivers running in the trees. Driverless car. What am I, an idiot? You know what I'm saying? But they'll sell that to you. Karen says, record company. Um, we put record company puts business insurance on artists, own their music rights, and collect after death. Yeah, that's exactly what happens. They own their publishing. Once they get their publishing, that's it. And I was looking at something, with Lance Rivera. They call him and he breaks it down how with Puff Daddy you know Sean Combs, what he does or what he did, he owned the publishing and he won't sell it back, give it back or whatever after all the royalties, all the money is basically drained. He'll hold on to it for 25, 30 years. Now this is what Mr. Rivera on said, and then after everything is drained, then he'll give it back. So it looks like he's a good guy because he gave the publishing back, but there's nothing left. The artist and can't draw on it. There's nothing, no royalties, but it's just so much to the music game and so much to the entertainment game, you know. And so it's a hell of a thing. But you call it show business, and it is a business, that's for sure. And you have to have people around you that are smart. If you aren't, uh, these young cats, man, they just want to get on. They just want to get out there and be seen, man, and get the chains and get the fly rides and the big house and in the valley and I'm not saying the valleys, but actually on the hills out in Hollywood Hills, Malibu, Beverly Hills, and coming to the Hamptons and live that life. But there's more to it than just that. You try to get your family together, take care of your family, and I think about making it. If I had made it back in the day, when I was out there, it wouldn't have been good for me. It wouldn't have been a good look for me at all, because I was caught up and so many things that weren't good for me. Was fame would have been detrimental to me and my existence at that time. So thankfully, I didn't make it. Didn't make it. Now it's a different look as far as like how things go down because you have all content influencers and creators and stuff like that. So if you have a little bit of savvy, you know what I'm saying, you can be okay. I see these young people, man, that are content influencers, content creators, and stuff like that, and they're making a fortune. God bless them. Now, whatever they do with their money, that's on them. But yeah, you don't need the uh, as you did before the coming up and going through certain protocols and you know like that. But yeah, and you still have to be leery and cautious of people as far as like selling your ideas. A lot of times, basically, I look at how Dame Dash, you know, he's exhausting. He's very intelligent for sure. And but the thing is, he went on to the Breakfast Club and he was talking about being a boss. How every man, who's not a boss, who doesn't own his own business, is less than a man, basically. Which I didn't like it at the time. It just left a bad taste in my mouth because not everybody can be a boss. Like, not everybody can handle fame. Fame is not for everybody. It wasn't for me at that time. I wouldn't have known what to do with it, and I would have been caught up and maybe not be here right now because of bad decisions and stuff like that. But being your own boss, uh, it's a hell of a thing. You have to know what you're doing, and my partner says, "Hey," he said, "You loan me a car." He says, "Yeah," and the wheel came off. I did, yeah. Sorry about that, partner. And I loaned him a car. That's how I was out of it. I was so high, getting so high, and then mixed up and caught up, and loaned him my car, to take his son back to school out there in Islip, I think Central Islip. And I'm out there. I was in Harlem. I was uptown at that time, and I was up laid up with a girl, and we were getting high. And yeah, I loaned him, my vehicle at that time, and she lived out here. She lived out here. I'm in Far Rockaway now, and but she lived out here, and my routine with her, hang out with her, we get high, we do our thing and whatnot, lay up and kick back, and I bring her home, huh? So it's a nice little ride from Far Rockaway to Harlem, 123rd Street. Alexa, how many miles is it from Far Rockaway to Harlem, 123rd Street?
From Far Rockaway, 123rd Street in South Ozone Park is 8.2 miles away by car.
Alexa, how far is it from Far Rockaway, Queens to Harlem, New York, 123rd Street?
From Rome to Rio.com. The distance between Far Rockaway and Harlem is 28 miles.
Alexa, how long would it take to get to Harlem from Far Rockaway?
From Far Rockaway, a drive to Harlem would take about 12 hours and 2 minutes.
Oh, Lord. No, it's probably about an hour and 15 minutes. But point being that I has to drive her back here, back home. And so, yeah, I loaned him the car. He needed a car. I don't know what happened to his cars at that time, but that wasn't even a matter. That wasn't even an issue. I loaned him the car, as my partner, and that's how we do it. And yeah, and I'm indulging with her, and I don't know how much drugs we had that night. Eddie says it's 28 miles. Yeah, I think Alexa said the same thing. But yeah, so you know what? So I said, Alexa, how far is Central Islip from Harlem? Alexa, how far is Central Islip from Harlem?
I can't get your exact location. What's your current location's address?
Alexa, the address is 540 Manhattan Avenue to Central Islip.
I can't get your exact location. What's your current location's address?
Damn.
Sorry, something went wrong.
Oh, don't tell me the internet is fucking up again. But yeah, so he had to go to Central Islip from uptown, from Harlem, come get my car. And then, he was in the Bronx at that time. So he's driving. He's with his son, huh? Going from Triborough across the Triborough, and a wheel comes off. I mean, it sounds like nothing, but a wheel came off the car. And every time I'm driving now, every time I'm in a car and I'm on the highway or whatever, all I can think of was that night. He called me and said, "Hey, partner, uh, now, mind you, I'm with a girl and we've been getting high all day. You know, I doing, the ecstasy, the mollies, the cocaine. I didn't smoke. I wasn't smoking crack with her. Uh, uh, might have been. We might have smoked some cigarettes, some woolers, some woolers. That's when you put the cocaine in the cigarette and smoke those or whatever. I might have been doing that. But I do remember sniffing, and we were drunk beyond understanding, beyond recognition type shit. But yeah, Alexa, how far is Harlem from the New York Institute of Technology in Iceland?
To answer that, I'll need to learn where your home is.
Oh boy,
What's that address?
Alexa's drunk. Huh?
Hmm.
Alexa, how far is the Institute of Technology from 540 Manhattan Avenue, Harlem?
From Manhattan Avenue, Delhi, Institute of Technology is 2,453.5 miles away.
Oh shit. I'm gonna leave that shit alone. Uh, so it was 2,000 something miles for that night, but nah. But the wheel came off. My man is driving, and he calls me. He say, "Hey G," and I hear him, but I'm like I'm not I'm not there. I'm not functioning in a state of like where I should be, to have that type of understanding to put it all together. And he's telling me, "Yo, man, I just want to let you know the wheel came off with me, on the way up there." And I heard him, right? I said, you know, I said, "You all right? Jada all right?" You know, he said, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah, probably everybody good." I said, "Okay." I hung up because he said everybody was good. That's all I needed to know. But I knew him as far as like being a mechanic and having understanding of cars and everything like that. It was more to it that goes with that as far as like having God on your side, having that blessing and stuff. And at that, but none of that entered into my thought process at that time because I'm out of it. I'm gone. I'm skied up. I'm fucked. I'm out of it. You feel me? So I heard him. He said Jada and him were good. That's his son, Jada. You know, he taking him back to the New York Institute of Technology that evening. And, you know, I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel any remorse or anything because I was high. I was out of it. So my thing was talking about like not everybody can be a boss. Not everybody can handle fame. Not you know what I'm saying? So I definitely wasn't, in a state of mind to, you know, to absorb that at all. They were good, and that was good. Eddie, when I actually finally came out of it, out of that foggy state, and he explained how the tire, somebody took the tire. The tire bounced off the car came off the car. So he's driving on. He's on three tires, and the fourth tire with the tire is scraping. It's sparks. He said he saw sparks. He said he thought it was fireworks. He didn't know if it was the Fourth of July. He saw the scraping the ground. The sparks was flying, and I'm like, damn. It was like that every time I go out and I'm on the highway and I look. I said, all I can do is like relive that scene that I wasn't there for. You're just thinking about how the pie had just bounced all, you know, and how like you see some of those accidents. Just go on YouTube and look at how tires fly off of cars and will actually, crash another vehicle and cause a major accident because you're not expecting nothing like that. You prepare for stuff like that, but you don't really expect it. And but yeah, man. So that shit was the hell of a thing. But that's where my state of mind was at that point in time. And nah, I mean handling fame, um, nah. Um, and a lot of kids, man, they think that they can handle fame. They'll the jewelry, like I said, the fly rides, the big house, and you don't understand like exactly what that entails as well. Once you get all that, now you gotta have a plan to maintain it. You know what I'm saying? So there's more to it than just getting it and that's it. Now you on. Yeah, I'm good. I'm on. Yo, baby. But yeah, now what? Now you at the now what stage. It's like that. But yeah, so the fame is something else. You know, um, it's more to it than that. And like Dame Dash was talking about um, being your own boss. He said he can't work for another man. Working for another man is like the man is being your daddy. Like calling another man your daddy type shit. But to each his own. Everybody's different. Not every like and not every man thinks about it along those lines that you call another man daddy because you work for him. So it's not like that. How many people may have to grind every day to get up and do what they have to do for them and their family. And you have to have obviously Dame is just talking on some egotistical, some narcissist uh, bullshit because it's not realistic. Like from any point of view, now he's all over the internet trying to downplay what he said as far the boss. He's trying to still prove he's a boss and he's still got it like that. Hey, you know what? If he's got it like that, more power to him and blessings be upon him. But you know what I'm saying? It's just that it's crazy. It's retarded. And then you got Cam and Mace that are clowning him, man, because he's really now just punking and chumping himself, man, in the worst kind of way. He's Dame Dash, man. Let it go, be. You had your dead Rockefeller. If you're still on, you're not broke. He filed for bankruptcy and he's going through all kind of legal issues and he's trying to prove he's not broke. And the more he's trying to prove, he went in the Breakfast Club and Charlemagne clowned him, DJ Envy clowned him, and he's trying. It's just you know. I watch this show and the guy always says, if you're digging a hole, you're in a hole, you're digging it. Stop. You hold your stop. Dame, just stop. Just sit down, enjoy your success, enjoy who you are. You make your moves, man, and they said real players, real ballers move in silence or whatever. Just do your thing, man. We know who you are. You already proved yourself to the world. You know what I'm saying? So it's good like that. My partner said I never did call them daddy. But yeah, so I'm looking at my papers and stuff, and I want to do shows. I want I had put my shows up there, with the interviews that I did. Like I said, I want to thank AMF America, Almighty Force Brothers, uh, Bars and Hoops, Tyrone Lowe, Lady Miz, and Ray. Those are the three interviews I have up now. And then Money Mom, I did an interview with him earlier. It was the first interview. I got to relocate that and put that up. So take a look. If you get a moment, take a look at the interviews, and it gives you a brief history into who I am and what I did, you know, and where my state of mind was at the time, and because I'm thankful of where I'm at now, state of mind wise, you know, and financially, like I said, all that comes with a price, with a price, the fame part of it, that kind of thing. So, my grandma used to say, "Be careful what you ask for, what you wish for." Right? You might get it, and you know what I'm saying. You have to be able to handle it, though. And so I'll be changing the format to some extent, and when I did the show with the AMF, Almighty Force Brothers, people were saying, man, you should just tell some stories about, the celebrities that you work for, like with Dionne Warwick. It was a funny story, man, because it was real, it's true, and then with Sinbad, he was telling me about how Anita Baker, but that was between him and I was in on a closed set when he was telling me about how Anita Baker is. I had heard stories about her, whatever, but the story was hilarious. But stories along those lines, Jerry Butler, Frank Gorson, and I'll be doing that. But yeah, and my buddy says he's also thankful as well because he made it. You know, and I still had to take her home. Still had to take that girl home. So it was a blur in my head at the time. You know, Karen says she needs more money. Karen, we all could use more, huh? That kind of thing. So, but what are you gonna do for the money? See what I'm saying? You work, you have your good job, good profession, good career, and stuff like that. You get money, but it's all you can. There's always room to get more. But yeah. So I'm not gonna go too much further. I just want to also point out with Mr. OJ, Eddie OJ, and myself, we have a show called Mason and OJ. Let's talk about it. But I spoke with Ed earlier, and he said I want to change the name to Breaking Bread. But whatever, however, it's still going to be the same format pretty much. We're just talking about topics and events like the Puff Daddy's Friday. He's trying to be released, be acquitted on these charges. The prosecution wants him to do 11 years, huh? And the defense is saying 14 months. I think he's done 11 months already, something like that. So they just want to tack on a few more months and, release Puff Daddy. I mean, his family is rooting for him, man. He's the breadwinner. If he goes away for 11 years, what are they going to do? One of these guys haven't made a hit record or done anything, where they can put bread on the table. His sons and daughters or whatever, the month, nobody, is being, and then waiting for Puff Daddy. They still eating off of him. He's the breadwinner, so he's got to go before the judge on Friday. So Eddie OJ and I will talk about stuff like that. We always ask, questions and topics and nothing heavy, something that's thought provoking or whatever. So look for us on this Tuesday, this Tuesday at 8 o'clock. And Tuesday, today's Wednesday, the first. So next Tuesday, or what that'll be the 6th. Uh, next Tuesday, whatever the day is, I'll put it up. Uh, Coming up this in the next couple of days or so. But yeah, so look for that. And as I said, I'm going to be doing shows. I want to talk more about my friend Ronnie Wilkerson, what Ronnie meant to me, and the impact that he had on the game. And that's another one. And Ronnie would have could have been a superstar as well. He's funnier than any of these cats that are out there. And you know, like I tell a story about like Chris Rock, and I heard it. I was watching the show. It might have been Roseanne, Arsenio, or Letterman, one of them late night joints, and they're talking about, and he was talking about Ronnie. He said, "Yeah, man, there had been his brother." He says that I came up with was funny as hell. He says, and he should have been sitting here instead of me, but he had a habit, he had an addiction, and then Ronnie Wilkerson. I said, "Oh shit." He said his name. Yeah, because when I first met Ron, he was with Rock. He was with Chris at Stand Up New York on West 72nd Street. And I had an audition for the Cosby Show. Bill Cosby, Mr. Cosby was doing uh, the Cosby Show, but they needed a warm up. Warm ups make between $1,200 to $1,500, for who knows, 10, 15 minutes of work, in between, while they're setting up, uh, the acts and stuff like that. So I just did a set. I was only doing comedy for maybe 6 months at that time. And I had a spot, I had a gig at McKell's, and I was okay. I was getting laughs and stuff like that. I was finding my way around. I wasn't polished or anything along those lines, but, I knew what to do up on stage. And the guy came down and the manager said, "Hey, man, there's a spot. They got a thing over there at Stand Up New York on 72nd Street, and you should go over there and check it out." Now, I thought he was inviting me, that it was something, was an open audition, so I said, fine. I went over there, walked over from McCall's, which was 95th and Columbus, to 72nd Street on the Western Way, Papaya. I don't know if you New Yorkers will know. 72nd and Broadway, a great Papayas. The hot dogs are incredible. It's right around the corner from there, Stand Up New York. And that's where I met Ronnie. And Ronnie and Chris Rock and, Rhonda Hampson, Melvin George, and, all black comics that were anybody at that time or auditioning. And I go over to the list, and mind you, I'm zooted. That's back when I'm. What's up, Lydia? Uh, my sister says the beard isn't going anywhere. Leave it alone. Man, that's another addition of sexiness, baby girl. That's how when I pull it like that. That has an effect on females. I've already been told. They say when you do that thing with your beard, it drives me crazy. That's what they told me. Now I don't know how real that is, but that's what I've been told. So this when I do that, that freaks the shorties out. You know what I'm saying? It's it's like that. But yeah, I walked down the 72nd, and Ron, he invited me to lunch the next day. He put me on. He gave me. I got my first gigs from him. My first jobs from the agent. Do it just makes the bottom lip bigger. Yeah, you're funny. That that's not funny. That's not funny. But I give you props on that for you to say that. But yeah, I do got some big ass lips. I do. But yeah, the females say like you do when you pull your beard. They were like, "What does that mean?" I'm like, "Yo, it has a significance. I just use your imagination, type shit." You know, I love you too, baby girl. I love you, no doubt. Give everybody a big hug and kiss for me, please. Let Bam know I'll be calling him soon, no doubt. But yeah, so Ron inviting that's I was getting high back then. I was zooted that night from McKell's, walked there, and then I'm looking at everybody in there, suspicious uh, type shit, and he invites me to lunch, and I had a nice watch on. I'm like, this motherfucking man is trying to set me up, looking at my watch and shit. I was just thinking, he's just thinking crazy, man. Yeah, but I'll be talking about the different shows and working with Sinbad, working with Dion Warwick, working with Frank Gorson, working with Jerry Butler, or with Gabriel Barberi, John Lucien, Rochelle Farrell, um, yeah, Gloria Lynn. I will survive all those the people I worked with in different venues and the different little things I went through, you know, and I never got high in the green room. I never got high like backstage or anything like that. But the Dionne Warwick thing, man, that was a trip. And I talk about virtual shows, talk about what it is to be a comedian, what a real comedian is, you know, uh, who's relevant now, who I think is funny, and why they're funny, from my opinion, for what, like I said, a comedian is. Like the Red Foxes and the Richard Pryor's, George Carlin's, Sam Kinnison's, Godfrey Cambridge, and Nipsey Russell. Nipsey was brilliant, but you know, but I'll go there. And God bless you, Karen. Have a good night, darling. Yeah, I'm going. I'm going too. And God bless you, Karen, Eddie, and me, and anyone watching you. But so I don't want to get too long-winded about that. And as you say, I can ramble, I can go. But you guys have hung in there with me. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. God bless you. And my lips, they're big, but and I'm gonna pull on I'll pull on that a couple more times. You know, give some give the shorties a little bit of excitement on that. But you guys enjoy the rest of the evening. Put my shades on, my sexy shades. And God bless you. Thank you. And next Tuesday, it'll be Mason and OJ breaking bread. Huh? But we do some promos throughout the week. Today's Wednesday, and Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and we're going to set it off. All right. Love you all. Tell somebody that it's close to you. Don't be scared to use that four-letter word. I love you. Let them know. Huh? Do that. Alexa, Alexa, resume music. She just let me go. Sometimes that shit is just like, yo, it is what it is. Alexa, play Big Mac, Buddy Rich.
Shuffling songs by the Buddy Rich Big Band on Amazon Music.
Alexa, off.